Whew, what a crazy last 36 hours. Jenny B! Jenny B got injured on our cruise. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, and look, I didn't make a show yesterday. I didn't make a show today, and I was like, I'll just wait until tomorrow and update everybody, but I know how some of you get concerned when I disappear for a couple days, and well, I love you guys for that. So I thought I would just pop on real quick. We just made it back from Fort Lauderdale after a crazy, it has had to be like 36 hours, trying to deal with an injury on the cruise ships. Very simple injury. Like, it's so funny. If you're a young person out there, I know we got a mix of demographics, older folks, younger folks, but look, I feel like anytime that you're late 40s, early 50s, you could just be walking around and catching an injury. And well, that's what happened. That's what happened to the pretty Jenny B. Not last night, but the night before last, about 1 a.m. in the morning, she was making her way back to the cabin from the casino when her foot started hurting. Her right foot started hurting, and as she approached the elevator, she heard a popping sound, and she said the popping sound was very audible and very scary and very uncomfortable, and immediately she struggled to walk. Now, she made her way all the way back to the cabin, and then when I got back a couple hours later, she was in pain, and went to sleep, woke up the next morning still in pain, couldn't put any weight on her foot, and we knew we had a problem. So this was the last day. Yesterday, it was the C day, and we were, debating, do we go down to medical? Is that going to cost a lot of money? We looked at her foot. There was no visible swelling. There was no bruising, and I've broken both of my ankles before, so I'm kind of familiar when you get a broken bone in that foot area. Of course, I'm not a doctor, and I've never played one on TV, and so we were like, all right, worst comes to worst, we got to figure out how we can get the non-walking Jenny off of the cruise ship, and if she wanted to do anything yesterday other than stay in the cabin. So I go down to the front desk and I say, hey, my wife, she can't walk, and can I get a wheelchair from you guys? The front desk said, well, we don't do the wheelchairs here, you have to go to medical, but fortunately medical is open. So I went down, we were staying on deck 10, I went down from guest services on deck 5, I went down to deck 4. You have to buzz into the medical center. They don't tell you this, and it's not super obvious. So the door is locked, but the hours are there, and it says they're open. I called them on the phone because I couldn't figure out that you could buzz to get in. And I don't know if that's true on every medical center, but this was my medical center experience. I go into the medical center, and I say, hey, look, something's wrong with my wife's foot. Can we rent a wheelchair? And they're like, certainly, you can rent a wheelchair. And so the challenge is they would let you have the wheelchair for the day up until 6 p.m. when they closed, or you could keep it overnight and then you would have to return it at 8 a.m. And so our original plan to leave the cruise ship is we were going to do, as we always do, we were going to do the, self-assist. We were going to carry all of our luggage off ourselves. We were going to walk off. We would be able to do that at 6 a.m. in the morning, but we knew, because of Jenny's foot, that we would need to do the wheelchair assist, and the wheelchair assist didn't start until 7:30, and if we kept this wheelchair that we rented overnight, well, we would have to return it at 8 a.m. So it changed the whole dynamic of the disembarkation. But yeah, so rented the wheelchair. The way that worked, I had to put down a $150 deposit, and then the wheelchair rental was $20. When I returned the wheelchair, $150 comes back to me. I take the wheelchair, I go up to the cabin, and we're talking about it. It's like, okay, it doesn't look like it's anything serious, but better safe than sorry. We knew they had an x-ray facility on the cruise, and we decided to go down to medical. So we load Jenny B up into the wheelchair, and then we take her down to medical. Jenny B hurt her leg. What you doing?
Oh, just hanging.
Medical.
I'm running marathons over here.
They take us back. Pretty big medical facility on the Sky Princess. Lots of doctors, lots of people in scrubs. I don't know what everybody's job title was, but we had a very fine doctor, and they took us back to the x-ray room trying to determine whether or not we needed an x-ray, described what happened, the popping sound. The guy looked at Jenny's foot. There was, of course, no bruising, no swelling in the area, and he said that's normally what indicates a broken bone. But then he started feeling around, and on the side of her foot, he found the point that was, in pain, and he said that it was fairly common. It's a tendon on the top of your foot. It does, help with the weight bearing, and so when it can pop out, it can be aggravated, and apparently that's what happened to Jenny B. There's nothing they can do for it. We mobilized it with a wrap, and you could get a walking boot if you planned on walking a lot, or you could, try to stay immobile for 10 to 15 days. And so they gave us an option on the ship. They had a walking boot. The guy said, look, I can give you this walking boot, but it's going to be super expensive. I never really found out what super expensive meant. Or we can wrap it up. You can stay immobile. You can go home. We passed on the on-ship walking boot. We took her back to the cabin. She stayed in the cabin all night last night. We got everything packed up, and today was the day that we disembarked on the cruise ship. Kept the wheelchair overnight. This morning, I wheeled her down to the spot where they wheel you off the cruise ship to the wheelchair assist. Transferred her into a chair, just a regular setting chair. That was about 7:45. Our disembarkation time was not until about 8:15. So once I got her transferred to the regular chair, then I took the wheelchair back to medical so that I could get my $150 deposit back. And then about 8:45, 9 o'clock, they transferred her into a wheelchair. They rolled her off of the ship. A nice person that rolled her off the ship. They handed her off to a port worker. We normally would have parked at the port, but we left at one cruise terminal, and we returned to another cruise terminal. So we were worried about where the car would be parked. We parked at off-site parking. The wonderful lady wheeled us right to the cab stand. We jumped in a cab. We went to the off-site parking at the Dania Beach Casino, and we got in our car, and we just got home. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy last 30-something hours. The cool thing is the pain is already subsiding in Jenny's foot. So, in another week or so, this will probably be fine. Same thing happened to our daughter Danielle, and she recommended this Amazon boot, so we're picking up the boot. What did it cost to go to medical? $99. So to even get seen by anybody, it was $99, and that was the only thing that they charged us. And so we're going to file that through our cruise insurance, through Allianz, and see if we can recoup the $99. But, I'd heard horror stories of how expensive it could be, and I thought that was really reasonable. $99 to examine. They didn't charge anything for the little wrap that they gave us. And, $20 for the wheelchair, and everybody was super nice and real accommodating. So have some positive thoughts for Jenny B. She does feel good. She's on the mend. She just has to do her best not to move around a lot for the next week. When that boot comes in a couple days, we'll see how that is for walking. But of course, it's Christmas and all that stuff. So interesting. We'll have the kids over, and we'll probably put them to work. What else? That's the story. That's what's going on. That's why there was no show yesterday, no show today. My poor girl. It's the first time that anything's happened to us on a cruise ship, and this was just one of those things that happened. That pop tendon is not that uncommon, but yeah, it was unfortunate. But I guess the fortunate thing is that it happened on the night, like the last night before the cruise. We had a really good cruise, and Jenny B's brother cruised for the first time. They loved it. Jenny B's Stevie and Missy, they loved it. Got to hang out with Don, so that's what's going on. Now it's time to chill and just get ready for the week and 10 days until the next adventure. And how you guys doing? That's pretty crazy stuff. But I hope hopefully it's helpful to hear what happens when you go to medical and stuff like that. And positive thoughts for Jenny B. This is Tony B for La Lido Loca, and well, until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.